for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, another sign. Okay, thank you. Okay, roll call.
Dave Eggleton.
Here.
Chris Mogus.
Here.
Julia Pando. Here. Marty Selker.
Here.
Gary Sproul.
Here.
Nathaniel Parker.
Here.
Bob Smith.
Here.
And Tom Walter.
You here, Tom? Here. Okay. Okay, and for consideration to adopt the agenda with amendments, additions, corrections, and deletions.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Public comment, anybody for comment? Okay. Okay, we're gonna have a presentation by ADM.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, nice to see you again. It's Richard Phelps and John Isherwood with ABM. If you recall, we stood before you in January and shared a concept of how Clarion-Limestone could address some of the infrastructure needs that exist within your district by harnessing the power of your existing operating budget, so no new taxes to your constituents. At that time, our recommendation was to do a little bit of a deeper dive. And with your permission, we were able to do so. And that deeper dive included installing some data loggers, right? Looking at how you operate the facilities. And so tonight we're here to share the results of that with you. So agenda for this evening is really kind of where we are from a timeline standing, the data logger findings, and then what would be those next steps. That, okay, is everybody able to see? Okay, to see? Okay. So we shared, we kind of began conversations with administration last year, gathered some information, and then we came before you in January, presented that information, and then with the approval to do a deeper dive. At that time, we installed a number of data loggers throughout your facility here, and here we're going to present those findings with you, and then we'll talk about next steps. So I'm going to turn this over to John, who's going to take you through kind of where we installed them and what some of those findings are.
Hi, good to see everybody again. So we installed 16 data loggers. The data loggers were on pumps, some motors, and on mainly rooms and temperatures and humidity and things like that. We have some key findings. We picked some common spaces like the library, a classroom, the administration side, just to show you a flavor of how the temperatures are operating in those spaces. Data loggers look like this. They sit on the returns of your HVAC system. This is all pneumatics here. So you have a pneumatic system. It's the old way to run facilities, and you're going to see a lot of data. The data is going to be red and blue. Red means it's hot, blue means it's cold. And don't get overwhelmed. I'll walk you through it, and you can ask any questions you have. The one thing I will point out, high level, we had a cold snap. The first 2 weeks the data loggers were in here, the temperatures didn't get much above the teens. So you'll notice that the charts will be really cold on the top, but then as it moderated through the month, you'll see how the data comes back. And you did a nice job on the lead legs of the pumps. You'll see the pneumatic pumps are running very well, and it's actually a tribute to the maintenance staff here, the way they're operating the pneumatics.
And we didn't want to really, we kind of discounted the information from the cold snap because at that time, your maintenance staff and Lee kind of left the buildings as occupied because they didn't want to lose the building, have it be too cold overnight, and then not get back to a comfortable temperature during the day. So with that information, we kind of set that aside and said this is one-off, 2-week period during the course of the year. That's not indicative of how you operate the facility.
We were worried about freezing pipes if it dropped in the evening, so.
So we kind of set that aside and said, okay, that's not the normal way of operating facilities.
All right, first chart, classroom 200, and 200 is operating fairly well. Good weekend setbacks, and what you're looking at here, these are the days of the week across this, the x-axis, the y-axis, you have the actual hours in the day. So this is midnight through 11 p.m. that way. So you can see the weekends, the setbacks are fairly good, where the lighter the data is, the better control you have in that area. The darker it is, you can see there was an issue on the 24th and 25th where the classroom 200 got very cold, and then you had to bring it back up to temperature. So when you get this sort of variation, you're using a lot of energy to pull up that space to a comfort level. This is the admin office where all the administration is. This was the cold snap up top. You can see how the variations in the temperatures. On 217, there was a really good scheduling up until 217. From 6 a.m. till 3 p.m., the building had very good control in that area. But then after 217, we noticed that we lost the control in that space. So again, very difficult to use. Pneumatics are very challenging, so it's not data that's unreal in today's world of pneumatics. The library, again, that 217 date seemed to be a date in which things happened in the building. That's kind of right after the cold snap. You can see up top, cold snaps in blue. Again, the darker it is, the more energy you're consuming. The darker the red is, that's very hot in this part of the building. You can see the overnight set points here, the setback control is an issue. And then this is the two pneumatic compressors that feed the actual thermostats in the building. You can see you got a nice strategy of pump, pneumatic pump motor number 2. You used it 35% runtime from 129 to 210, and then you flipped over to motor 1. So that allows you to have a very good cycling of the pneumatic compressors. And what that'll give you is better maintenance long-term on the compressors. You'll have less maintenance. But essentially, this compressor is running on 1 minute, off 2 minutes, on 1 minute, off 2 minutes. So this energy usage will go away once you go to what's called direct digital control. So as you move off of pneumatics into the modern era of HVAC systems, you will get all this energy relieved.
So based upon this, if you recall last time, we projected about 17% savings. This number has actually gone up. So we believe, based upon our findings from the logging, that we believe 23% is attainable for you, which would equate to about $34,000, almost $35,000 on an annual basis to use as funding to then help you pay for these improvements over time. So there's the 34,000 represented by energy. The 20,500, I believe, is a conservative figure from an operational standpoint. An example of that would be repairs made to those compressors, the pneumatic systems, the repairs that you have to make for that by switching over. Right? You don't have to make those repairs anymore, and those dollars can go towards helping you pay for these improvements over time. And so what that equates to is about over $1.1 million in funding to address some of these needs, which you would then be able to decide what measures you wanted to implement. And then, so you would take out a note or a loan on the 1.1, represents $55,000 a year. So how do you pay for that? $34,000 in guaranteed energy savings and $20,000 in guaranteed operational savings. So that's what I mean in terms of self-funding, right? The savings help pay for the improvements.
Is that number including the kind of the trend that's happening around here with the increase in costs of electricity?
That is based upon the rates of today. So the value of those savings as the cost per unit goes up. So with the data centers and everything opening up and cost of electricity anticipated to increase, if we save 1 kilowatt hour, right, the value of that kilowatt hour goes up. So those savings would go up, but that is based upon your consumption today. So the value of those savings will go up.
What's the 20,500 again?
Those are maintenance and operational. So this,
Savings?
yes, that would be, like, the equivalent would be, if I'm spending $6,000 a year on repairs for my car, right? Instead of spending $6,000 on maintaining my old car, right, that $6,000 that could go towards a new car payment.
It's like the $8,000 thing we had last month for fixing the boilers.
Boiler, yeah. Yeah, so that would, as you right size the boilers, that new boiler, you won't have that $9,800 repair cost.
Okay. So, kind of, sorry, other question, okay. So kind of a recap, right? These are single point of accountability, right? Guaranteed outcomes, no change orders, firm fixed price, and guaranteed outcome, because if you're not seeing no savings, right, but going back one, let's say you only saw $30,000 a year in savings, we would have to write you a check for $4,710 to make you whole. And then in addition to that, because I don't want to write you a check every single year, I would co-author a solution with you to increase the savings so that I'm not writing a check to you. And that would be on our dime. But I would want to make sure that it was something that you know, made an impact to you. So, where are we at? You are qualified. And that's all we've done, is just qualify you as having an opportunity. The next step is really procurement, right? And there's a couple paths that you have in that as well. You could release an RFQ, and organizations like ABM will respond to that, and then you will have the opportunity to select the firm that you're most comfortable with moving forward. You can also select based off of the co-op, right? The co-stars that exist out there for selecting organizations. ABM's pre-qualified, a number of organizations are pre-qualified in doing these things. That is, again, your choice. The benefit to the co-op versus the RFQ is really just speed. Using an example of like $120,000 a year in savings, which obviously that was not, but that would equate to $10,000 a month. In an RFQ, it's probably a 3-month process, so that expense would be roughly $30,000 that you would miss in savings by doing that. Again, it's your project judgment, so that is your decision on how you would want to proceed. If you believe that this would provide value, then I would recommend going forward in that procurement phase, either an RFQ or a co-op. And then once you select an organization, they'll conduct that, they'll take your feedback, go and develop all these solutions, come back and present them to you. You know, from our perspective, it's a menu. You pick the measure, you'll know what the investment is and the savings associated with each one of those, and you'll build your project. And then, assuming you would select ABM, our job is to go execute your vision in that firm fixed price, no change order solution.
I think you told me this before, but, so in other words, the pneumatics would be gone out of here.
If you chose that within your project, yes, yeah. If that was the driver, a big driver in a project that you wanted to implement, then yeah, you would probably like to include it.
And you could include the facility grant that you applied for on the 13th, so that roofing and that kind of work can be applied to these types of projects.
Other questions?
So, say if we did go, would we have a certain fee up front for you guys?
You don't charge clients in doing the analysis on these projects at all. It's all part of what we do in our job.
What would the next step be?
Procurement.
Which, is there any cost to that?
No, that's just you releasing an RFQ. If you RFQ or selecting from a co-op. If you decided to select an RFQ, I'd come up with a kind of a templated RFQ, sit down with administration, explain what each section is, you customize it for yourself, and at the end of that, I hand it to you on a zip drive, as well as a newspaper article, scoring sheets, however you want to structure those, and then you release it, and off you go.
Just the cost for advertising,
For the,
for legal advertisement.
oh yeah, Cardinal has bring something up too.
I think the RFQ they provide would do it, I'm just saying like that we would have to put it in the paper and that costs
At least $300.
legal
per-
advertisement.
Yeah.
We have to find a paper first.
Yeah.
Running out.
$300 for explore Clarion, that's not cheap.
Is it doable?
I can just say honestly, the superintendent's group, I was just at a meeting, and that is something that, they're working with our, reps and our senators in Pennsylvania to try to get rid of that, because it's hard to get in the paper, so they, we can put on our website, stuff like, I just had that meeting, so, but.
I see a lot of districts putting it on their websites.
Yep.
Thank you. Appreciate it, good seeing you.
Excuse me. Was there any, did you ever have a business
Yeah.
card? Both of you have a business card.
Yeah. Just grab your phone.
Okay, number 7,
I
committee
was last
report,
Friday.
student representative.
They have informed me Mrs. Shook is gonna have some information on the student council stuff. So this is Simpson session.
Well, there are a couple little sentences in here.
There you go.
Yeah,
So we'll just get that in her report.
Okay.
Okay, the Riverview Intermediate and 6.
Okay, we're, part of, my report is that we'll be, deciding to approve or not approve the budget that Riverview has put forth to the district, for services, and we of course had policies that we approved, and resignations, as well as, unpaid leave on somebody. We also, for this, next week, we'll be interviewing for the, person that's being selected for the, assistant position, that's Sean Wilt, and that's basically all I have for Riverview.
Okay, thanks, Julie. Okay, Career Center.
We had a pretty short meeting. We approved the contract for Robson Sogan for the director position. He'll be starting April 8th. We hired a full-time instructor for the allied health class, Deb Sweeney. And we have not found a instructor for the auto tech class, so we're still searching for that. It's still open. If anybody knows anybody.
You can do
Yeah, that's about it.
it. You can do it.
I can get about a wheelchair.
Okay, thanks. The legislative representative.
Yeah, a few things. Mr. Weigel brought up about us advertising. There are two bills. One's in the Senate, one proposed by Senator Mastriano from Adams County, which would give school districts flexibility of how they meet their obligation, which he wants that school districts and local governments can use their websites, post it on buildings, also use other printed material, or even possible other news websites. The other one is House Bill 1291 by Representative Freeman from Northampton, and he wants to maintain what we have and wants to use the printed material. If there are no papers in the area, they'll have to find something else. PSBA totally come up against his proposal and are supporting Senator Mastriano's on that to give us more flexibility. A couple other things that came out with last year's budget, that local school districts must report their reading instruction in curriculum that they've used in 25-26 to the Department of Ed by the start of 2027 for some reason. Also, by August 1st, schools that have students that are habitually absent and are missing school, that there has to be a school improvement plan, and it has to have quarterly reports sent to the Department of Ed. And the last thing, starting with the class of 2027, that all students must either submit a FAFSA or an opt-out form for some reason. So, and that's all I have.
Okay, thanks, Gary. Curriculum and instruction.
We don't have we just approved curriculum, so we are getting very close to having an elementary schedule for next year. I thought this would be a good point to talk about that. So the master schedule, Jordan's been working on that with us. So we have that very close to being able to, have something on paper that we're ready to share out with the teachers and let them review that. And we're working on similar at the high school. It takes a little longer because kids choose classes. So you have to, you know, look at that whole process, but, we will have that ready, you know. Our deadline is, August first, I can't remember the exact deadline, but we'll have it done by the end of the school year, or in June, so that we're ready, so.
Okay, CLAEA representative.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I did, I'm not sure you can see me.
Huh?
Can you see me?
I see,
Okay,
yeah.
I didn't want to keep my back to anybody. So thanks for welcoming our report. Thanks and best wishes to Rob Santogan, so I hope he does well at the Career Center. We're sorry to see him go. And Student Council did tell me a couple of things, Davey. So one is the annual Student Council Snowball Semi-Formal raised $950 for Autism Pittsburgh. Close to 200 students in grades 7 through 12 attended the dance. That's almost all the students, isn't it?
Yes, it was very well
That was
attended.
a good showing. Student Council also raised over $150 for National Down Syndrome Awareness Day on March 21st by selling awareness keychains. There is a prize pack drawing for anyone that donated to buy a keychain. The drawing is on March 20th. The prize pack includes gift certificates from Bob Sub, Charvel, Walmart, and Canyon Coffee. Mrs. Johnson once again hosted the annual intramural jump-a-thon during elementary intramurals, and they raised $100. The annual Read Across America Week was March 2 through 6. Teacher and students celebrated by honoring Dr. Seuss through read-alouds, thematic dress-up days, and an assembly with games and prizes. Elementary staff members donated $20 each to wear jeans during the month of February as a fundraiser for our PSSA prize assembly. The assembly is used as a motivator to encourage students in grades 3 through 5 to do their best during the test. The high school teachers donated spaghetti and spaghetti sauce for the senior fundraising spaghetti dinner. So that was a success too. And huge congratulations to the academic decathlon team for their outstanding performance at States and Hershey. The team was ranked number 2 going into states from the regional competition at Montauk. They brought home 20 individual medals and jumped to first place to earn the state championship trophy, earning their spot to compete at the national level in Garden Grove, California. A special shout out goes to Verl Pavlov for receiving the highest score in speech and being a part of the speech showcase during Saturday's award ceremony. The team did an incredible job preparing for this competition, really showed their teamwork, and it really does make the dream work. What a great group to represent CL in the state of Pennsylvania in small schools. And many thanks to Mr. Alden and Mrs. Stouffer as their advisors. Thank you.
Okay, building representative.
We did apply for that roofing grant, 2 of them actually. One, we had to do it separate, so one for the elementary, one for the high school. You guys know that we got it completely submitted, and that is, you know, right around $1.8 million. If we get that, we'd be very excited for that work. We're going to meet just initially tomorrow to look at our doors, since we did get that grant. We need to look at what that process will look like, what do we need to do in terms of the process. But I wanted to meet with a door company just to get an idea of what, you know, pricing for that might look like. So as I, you know, prepare to put everything out, it'll be, I think, easier that way. So I have a meeting tomorrow with that, and we'll take a look. Mark will be looking at that with me, or SBO, for safety, you know, looking at which doors are the best for us to, you know, work on first. So that's gonna happen tomorrow. And I can't think of anything other than that, so.
Okay, thank you. Cafeteria representative.
Sneaking in just in time. Kindergarten registration or meeting went wonderfully. So from the cafeteria, at the beginning of March, we had celebrated National School Breakfast Week. The theme this year was Quest for School Breakfast. Every day they had a special winner, 2 special winners each day whenever they came to about breakfast, along with every single breakfast that a student would get. They got a special treat with it. It was a pencil, an eraser, a tattoo. We did little dragon tattoos to go along with the theme. Right now we are in the middle of Taste the Rainbow. It's a nutrition education type event where we feature color. We started on St. Patrick's Day with green, obviously, and there are announcements discussing the importance of the color and what it does for your body. So the fruits and vegetables, the color was green, and then today was red orange. Tomorrow is blue. So, and then Friday is yellow. Every time the student comes through and gets their lunch, they also get a special treat with their lunch when they're wearing the special color. If they're not wearing the color, they still get the special treat. But, and then in April, we have Super Mario Brothers coming up. The new movie is coming out. So the cafeteria staff will be dressed up as the Super Mario Brothers characters, and we'll have a special theme along with a special treat with their lunch. And then we are also doing at the high school a sushi event for the a la carte room. So if anyone wants to roll any sushi on April 22nd, I believe. Yes. April 22nd. Sorry, they're going just from memory. And then also we are having our Easter dinner on March 23rd. I forgot that. Mr. Eagleton offered to carve the turkeys for me. I mean, I'll help on my thing. If anyone else wants to be a special carver that day, the more the merrier. So we'll have Easter dinner and carved turkeys for Easter. All right, thank you. Oh, and in front of you, you're eating a blueberry cheesecake, which will be our featured fave in the a la carte room towards the end of the month. We did St. Patrick's Day type stuff the beginning of the month, so this will be the special the last couple weeks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, number 8, administrative reports, business managers report.
Okay, so the document that I handed out to everyone just is about projected revenues as well as our salaries, wages, and benefits. There are just a few items that I want to hit upon. As you see from the revenues, we're going to be up 549. And as far as our estimated local revenues, there's a few items there that I want to talk about. You'll notice that real estate taxes are up, and that is because of improvements that people have had on their properties as well as our actual collections for 2025. There's also an increase in the earned income taxes. This is due to a higher wages and increase of workers out there. And then the interest amounts have actually decreased due to a decline in our amount to invest as well as a drop in interest rates. As far as the state revenues go, you'll see that the basic ed subsidy, special ed subsidy, and Ready to Learn grant have all gone up significantly. This is due in part, or this is due completely to Governor Shapiro's proposed budget. The transportation subsidy has decreased. This is due to last year's projections being higher than the actual. So this year we kind of adjusted those figures to make it more of a realistic number. You'll also notice that cyber school subsidy has been removed. This is because of the cyber reform. So they aren't offering the subsidy anymore. But while it looks like we're taking a hit of almost $67,000 due to this reform, we're actually going to have a decrease of about $200,000 in expenses, and then we'll gain of roughly $135,000 in net. On the next page, one of the last items I wanted to get.
So what we're doing is this is what we use to build the budget. And Angela's doing a great job doing this. This is the $17 million that our budget is, you see in the front, and then she has part of that on the back for expenditures. So our budget, would be around, the expenditures would be around the 17 million. You're not going to see that.
Not quite yet.
Not quite yet, but it's coming very soon. We're on exactly the timeline we've been on for the last 3 years that Vern has placed us on this projection, or this path. So we're right where we were to the day on that. So this again will be used to build, this is looking at next year's budget. And then we'll have the expenditures to show you some of it right now, but the rest of it coming up very soon for you.
Sorry about that. I guess I should have said something along those lines. And then the last part that I wanted to talk about is in the salaries and wages section underneath benefits. You'll see that there has been an increase in our medical insurance. So right now we've projected about a 12% increase in medical insurance. However, I don't exactly know that set amount until the meeting in April, and then I'll be able to go back and adjust all of these figures to that number. And again, these are all just projections right now, and each meeting here on out, I'll make sure that I have all these figures updated and everything going forward.
I have
Yes.
a question. Okay, so our interest is decreasing and it looks like we have less maybe money sitting in CDs or
Correct.
those kind of things. So are we looking at having a lot less interest coming in? Because we already lost 50,000 there.
That's what we're projecting for the year is 50,000.
Okay, and then under the cyber schools, we've lost that funding, but they've had reform. Do we have any idea on how that's faring out for a year of cyber
We're
school?
looking to have,
So what it is we believe that, because of the change in funding formula, it will cost us $200,000 less. So there's a savings of $200,000 there. But the state likes to move money around sometimes, so the front part where you see them move the 60-some thousand, that is really gonna come off of, because they're not giving us that 60-some thousand again, that'll come off the 200 to make that more like 130,000. So it wasn't the windfall that we had hoped for of, 600,000, but there was definitely some savings.
did anybody else have any other questions?
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Angela.
Yep.
Okay, superintendent, work administrator.
Yep, we just met with J.J. Johnson, was it yesterday? When did I meet yesterday? No, it was Monday. So J.J. was the second person that we had inducted into the Lion Legacy to recognize, somebody that's had a positive impact in the district. And he was extremely excited about that, and he was looking forward to, we offered him to come in and have do a webinar, or not a webinar, a podcast. So we were able to have him in on Monday. He sat down for about 20-25 minutes with us. The podcast will be coming out in the next week or so. He loved it. We took about a 2.5-hour tour of the district to see all the things we've been working on. And JJ is just a huge supporter. JJ had been a school board member, a teacher, a principal, a superintendent. I think I covered everything there. Student. Okay, I'm just a student. So it just meant so much to him to be part of that. I think it's going to be I think the podcast will be really popular to see. So, and we felt really good about that. He had actually interviewed, it was me, Abby Macbeth, and John Quinn, and when he started the podcast, he let everybody know that he actually had interviewed all of us and was part of all of us getting hired. So it was pretty neat to see. So that's what I wanted to share. David?
Yeah, first off, just to reiterate, huge congratulations to our academic decathlon team. Super excited. Yeah, give them a hand. So as I've been sitting down and working with Jesse and Caitlin, we've been looking at the money we have budgeted. Obviously, we budget basically to get them to states. From there, then they do a lot of fundraising. We do have some money left in the budget, so they're going to be doing, and they have some money left in their club account too, from other fundraising. So they're going to be doing a lot of fundraising over the next month to get to California. They estimate it to be about a $12,000 trip. So look to see what fundraising they're doing. If you're able to come out and support it, anyone in the community or any board members, please do. It's a great experience that our kids get to do. Think of small town, Clarion-Limestone. We're going to California to compete against all the other schools in the country. So just a huge honor. So please support them if you're able. So kindergarten registration was tonight. We had a great turnout. I'm going to say we had not registration, but the registration meeting, I guess. The registration actually takes place later. They register and then they come in for their testing and so forth. But we had the parent meeting tonight, and we had close to 40 kids there represented by their parents. And that's pretty close. We're expecting mid to low 40s in our kindergarten class this year. So Mr. Johnson and kindergarten staff did a great job setting that up. And it was very informative, and I think it's a weight off of the parent's shoulder when there's, especially the new parents that have never sent a kid to school before, that's getting that information, knowing what to expect, I think is huge. Bocce ball, I sent out some information on the Unified Bocce Ball program. Just about every school in the county now is doing the Unified Bocce Ball. So if the board blesses it, I would like to start looking at adding that into our budget a little bit next year. The only budgetary commitment we will have to make for the first 2 years is basically travel. You know, they play about 5 to 6 matches, so 2 to 3 would be home, or 2 or 3 would be away. And what that is we have to sign an agreement with Special Olympics. So it takes Special Olympic eligible students and pairs them with non-Special Olympic eligible. So it's a great inclusive program. And it just, everything I've seen and read and experienced from it, just really builds a great school culture and school climate. I think it's something that I would like to see us to do with the grant money from the Special Olympics. It's gonna be a very minimal cost for us over the next 2 years. And then after that, you'll probably look at maybe the cost of the advisors, which is $1,000 is what the Special Olympics pays for the advisors to do it. So, so some direction on that from the board. If you guys have any opinion on that or any thoughts, I would surely take any type of direction you guys have on that moving forward. And the other one, junior high track. Our junior high track program had 16 kids in it last year. This year it has exploded to 51 kids. We have 1 junior high track coach. When you have 16 kids, that was pretty manageable. Now with 51, I think we have to look at some solutions to that, to just make sure that we maintain the safety of everyone and we can manage the kids. I mean, the coaching part is okay, especially during the track practice. It's not as big of a deal because we have also 4 other coaches there that are doing varsity track. They all specialize in an event, so they're not really practicing. They're practicing concurrently, but not together. But the sprint coach will work with the varsity sprint, and then the junior high sprinters. The throwing coach can work with the varsity throwers, and then the junior high throwers. But the biggest issue is going to be at the meets. We have 4 meets or invites. So I think for this year, I would like to see us, 2 options is we do an MOU with the union and we hire another track coach, junior high track coach, or we could do like an hourly, have an employee go as like a chaperone, like we would like a field trip, and pay them hourly for this year, and then look at next year to add that position. The only problem with the MOU is our next board meeting, we'd already have 1 track meet finished already. So we wouldn't have a solution in place for that first track meet. I guess any guidance you guys have on bocce ball and junior high track, I would certainly appreciate.
Do you have any volunteers like to volunteer for the track, do you think?
So Dr. Sloan, he's the coach, he has asked for volunteers. I'll be honest, the hardest part with the volunteers right now is they have to do all of those courses online. So to get someone to volunteer and then spend hours online doing the coaching fundamentals course, it's really tough to get. You have to have someone that's really passionate about it, just being there. I think our only volunteer right now was Dr. Sloan. We put his wife on as a volunteer, that if she could make it to help at some meets, that's where we would go.
The easiest solution would be the paid, chaperone type thing for right now, so that we're ready. I mean, that is too many kids at one place, but.
But if it's chaperones, they don't have to go through the courses?
They don't have to do the coaching courses now.
They're just managing kids.
They're just
making
there
sure they're
helping manage kids, and
Would it be one of our staff members, or?
it would be, it would have to be a staff member that we already have approved.
They have clearances
Get the clearances.
Yeah.
How many's on the varsity?
Yeah.
It's around 60. We have about 120 kids total.
60 in the varsity?
Yeah.
How many, we have 2 coaches, right?
We have
3.
4. We have a girls and a boys coach and a girls and a boys assistant, so 4 coaches there. So, I mean, it's definitely a good problem to have. I mean, we have just a fantastic participation right now.
What's the, no, this is combined with Clarion, right? What's our CL amount from CL?
It's very close. I looked at it the other day. I don't have the numbers offhand, but it's very even.
Pretty
The
even.
number of track kids participating from CL increased drastically when we did the co-op.
And there's no one from Clarion that would like to chaperone.
When we join with them, we take on that, just like they take on theirs when our kids are over there.
Yeah, we have coaches from Clarion, and I mean, I think we do have a volunteer at the varsity level from Clarion, just like we have a volunteer from CL at the varsity level too. But it's really hard to put that responsibility on a volunteer is kind of, it's a difficult ask. With 50, it'd be like the equivalent of putting 51 kids into a classroom with one teacher. That'd be.
And that age group is particularly, I don't want to be quoting the paper on this, but they want to touch each other a lot or be close, so that's.
Push and shove and wrestle.
Yes.
When they get to 10th grade, 9th grade, that goes away, you know, but junior high's like.
So you're saying it would be 4 meets?
There's 4 away meets and 4 invites.
They're coming up pretty soon, right?
They're in April, yeah.
In April.
The first one is like a day before our next board meeting, or 2 days before our next board meeting.
So what would approximate cost be?
The teacher hourly rate for, you know, how many, it's gonna be.
Probably 4 to 5
5
hours.
hours?
Yeah.
So.
Each meet,
Each meeting.
okay. And do we have that rate?
The rates in the contract,
I don't have it off the top of my head, but I can get that.
I wanna say it's $28,
I was gonna say, I feel like 26, but it's probably somewhere in there, 26.
somewhere around that.
Julie, I can get that for
I
you
think it's.
later.
So you're talking a little over $100 per meet.
If we send one. If we send 2, which would probably be a better number, but,
Yeah,
you know,
that many kids.
especially when they spread out getting there, but I think it's needed for safety, I really do, with this many. I mean, it's a great problem to have when our kids wanna go out, you know, Ron?
So you're talking it'd be under $1,000 for the whole.
No, probably about 1,200. If it's 20 minutes and we'd say 5 hours, then it would be
5 weeks?
6, 7
4
weeks.
meets.
4 meets.
1.
4 times.
Yeah.
How many chaperones?
What about the?
I was just gonna ask for 1, but 2 would not be a bad idea, obviously.
That's not kids.
If I have enough kids.
I can probably do that.
Closer to about
You're
24.
looking at 600.
If it's,
So it's 2,400.
No, you're looking at 1,200 for
If you did 2 chaperones.
2 chaperones.
Okay, gotcha.
About 100.
How many different events are there?
Different events, well, there's a ton of different events, but you basically break track down into sprinting, distance, jumping, and throwing, so.
You're gonna have kids all over the place, you're gonna
Yeah.
have that.
Yeah.
2 of
I
them.
think so.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
You might as well have none as one, with that many.
Depending on the facility, some facilities, like our facility, if you're inside the fence, that's where all the runners are. And then you have the jumpers, and then the far end, you have the pole vault, and then on this end, outside of the fence, you have all your throwers, so, yeah. 2 would probably be a better idea. So,
do we have 2 teachers that want to do it?
I will have to explore that.
Because that's the other thing, is to be a chaperone, to do it.
We'll find them.
So are you looking for some type of approval, or what do you?
I think we're fine just doing it right now. We can put a motion if you want that in the next agenda, you know, but, like, I think we put it in play right now and started.
There's nothing.
With the bocce, do you know how many of our kids would be interested, or?
So that's something, it is something that we have to make sure we have enough kids. You need at least 3, I believe it's 3 kids who qualify for Special Olympics. I believe right now, in our class right now, I think there's 5 that qualify, so, I know at least one of those are graduating, so we'll have to make sure that they're interested in doing it as well. If they're not, they said they would supply us the stuff. We could do an intramurals if we wanted to for the first year, try to get more involved. they're very supportive that way, as long as we're trying to promote it and do it, so.
I see Clarion's going for the state title.
Yeah, they made it to the state championships, I think they throw tomorrow, start the tournament tomorrow. They do it concurrent with the so it's not a PIAA event or program, but they work concurrently with them. And they throw like during intermissions of the basketball championships.
The state's backing this, right? State's wants.
The Special Olympics, they give us all the startups, we would just have to handle transportation. Now, obviously, if we make it to states in the first year, that would be an additional cost. I know Clarion fundraising for theirs, you know, and Special Olympics helps the fundraising part too as well.
Is that something we can go up if we don't have the numbers, but somebody still wants to do it, or is that not something you can go?
They really encourage us to do our own, what they did, because there's only so many kids that can compete with that. It's like, I think it's like it's 3 or maybe up to 4 can compete at a time with one team. So
you're talking about Special Olympic children that don't get to compete in other things, and they work with, from what I read, they work with regular athletes by their side.
yeah, so it's paired up. And one thing that the gentleman from the Special Olympics he stressed, like, they're all teammates. Like they're all team. No one's there like helping each other. They're all helping each other as a team. He said it's a really neat dynamic that he's seen.
So Bobby Ruins told you like you being
At your ages, you're both on now.
Huh?
Both your ages, you're on the other one side.
Yeah,
You're right. Yeah.
I like the program because it gets the Special Olympics kids to interact with normal athletes, and it's good for them, not only during the school year, but after school. And if it costs us nothing but the transportation for 2 away meets per year, that would be a van, right?
Yeah, I would imagine we could take a van. We wouldn't need a whole bus. So, depending on, I think AC Valley, Red Bank, Clarion, Montauk, Keystone all have teams, so it's not like you're looking at far travel either. Like, they're all.
So when you need us to, we have.
We'll have a motion on the next agenda for that as well.
Yes, we have to sign a contract with the Special Olympics to move forward. But I just wanted to. Okay. So as long as the board is okay, I will talk to the gentleman about putting that contract together. Yep, thank you.
Okay, number 9, approval of the minutes. A, consideration to adopt the February 18th, 2026 regular meeting minutes as presented.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, financial reports. I'm gonna link A, B, C, and D all together.
Need a motion to approve?
Second.
Any discussion on anything? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, personnel. I'm gonna link A, B, and C together with that. Consideration to approve the following game workers at the set rate for the 25-26 school year, pending the receipt of all required legal documents, and there's all the names. B, consideration to hire the following substitute for 2025 school year, pending receipt of all required legal documents, and that name. And then C, consideration to approve the following volunteer for the 25-26 school year, pending receipt of all required legal documents in athletics and school.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, D and E, I'm gonna link them together. Consideration to accept the resignation of Robertson Tobin effective April 7th, 2026. and consideration to approve employee 828 for unpaid leave, April 15, 2026.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
I'd like to thank Rob for the time he spent here and wish him luck in his new position.
I second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, new business. I'm gonna link A and B together. Okay, consideration to approve the services agreement with OCA Benefit Services LLC as the flex spending provider beginning July 1st, 2026 as presented. Change from CVIZ maintaining Cades Margolis Corporation as administrators. And B, consideration to approve the MOU with Cades Margolis Corporation as administrators of Clarion-Limestone Area School District's flexible spending account as presented. This MOU lowers the monthly cost from $275 to $125 per participant. Monthly fee is split evenly between the district and enrolled employee.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, I'm gonna link, C and D together. Consideration to approve the 2026-2027 middle school course guide. And D, consideration to approve the 2026-2027 high school course guide.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, E, consideration to approve the comprehensive plan for the 2026-2029 school years.
So moved. Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, F, upon recommendation of administration, consideration to approve to renew the athletic training agreement with Clarion Rehabilitation Services Incorporated to provide a full-time trainer beginning August 1st, 2026 through June 15, 2027 at the total district cost of $65,632.72. Currently, it was $61,873.56 as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Is this agreement like the last ones where it's Emily? It's not just Emily?
It's
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna have a roll call vote on this. Roll call vote.
Bob Smith,
Yes.
Julia Pando,
Yes.
Chris Mogus,
Yes.
Dave Eggleton,
Yes.
Nathaniel Parker,
Yes.
Tom Walter,
Tom?
Aye.
He said yes.
Marty Selker,
Yes.
and Gary Sproul.
Yes.
Okay. Item G, consideration to approve the renewal of the regional-wide area network, RWAN agreement through the IU for discounted communications services and internet access at the decreased cost from the previous agreement as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. H, consideration to approve the construction of a 24-by-72 batting cage between the baseball and softball fields funded through Pittsburgh Pirate Charities grant secured in fall of 2025 with construction completed by agricultural construction students and district maintenance staff. Have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
Is that at no cost to us at all? Is that what it's saying?
That's the plan I'm working on, on all the quotes from, we've got all the quotes, we have the construction all down now, we're still working on the excavating, what we can do for that, but I'm working on getting it all either donated or done by our students, yes.
And that is in kind then, there is a match to the grant that could be done by us doing the work.
Right.
So that's why we're taking that approach. You know, in order to follow that grant, we have to do something in kind. So that's what I'll cover.
And how much was the grant?
10,000. I believe in materials right now, we're at like 7,000. That's just building materials. Jay Oaks has already looked at the quotes and everything and what the material list that we're gonna need, so, he's ready to, well, we gotta get some snow off the ground, then he's ready to get working on it.
Okay, see you next week again.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, aye. Consideration to approve the 26-27 school calendar as presented.
So moved.
That's the first time in how many years?
I love it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, J, consideration to approve the 2026 calendar for 12-month employees as presented.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. K, consideration to approve the 2026-27 Riverview Intermediate Unit 6 General Operating Budget of $1,686,416. 2025-26 operating budget was $1,676,821, with Clarion-Limestone's estimated contribution being $10,650, and the 2025-26 budget contribution was $10,644 as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Upon the recommendation of administration, consideration to approve the House Bill 41 resolution as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Is everybody going to have to go through?
They didn't vote on it yet.
No, so, this is, all the superintendents are trying to put this out and say, we need to do this because what happens in postseason play is non-boundary schools dominate championships. So, I was in a meeting with 25 other superintendents yesterday. This is symbolic right now, but it needs to get that push, so.
If you look at the state championships going on this coming week, most of them, the majority of the schools are non-boundary schools, private schools, so.
Yeah, they can recruit and we can't.
Yep, so if you guys approve this tomorrow, it'll be, I'll sign, Brad Frazier will sign, and David will sign, and that will go, be sent so that legislators can see that, so.
So we're not approving a policy, we're just approving the way it's going forward. We're basically voicing that they should be two different streams.
This is just a resolution
Yeah.
saying, here's what we believe, you know, that it should be two different, playoffs. In the 1970s, they say it was. I don't know that for
Yeah.
sure, but I mean, that's what they tell me.
Yeah,
So-
it came about in the late 70s when they
Yeah.
changed it. Yeah, I think I was looking at class 1, 2, and 3, they're all private schools until you get to class 5 and 6, you get some public schools. in there.
Our girls' basketball had a great run, district title, and they just lost to Catholic school. I mean, the playing field's not even.
Remember when I played in '76? We went to Altoona 3 times and we lost to a school like that. And we was at the
By
quarterfinals.
Bishop Carroll.
So, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, N, consideration to approve summer school for high school and elementary school students, no transportation provided.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, consideration to approve extended school year ESY based on student need for students July 7, 9, 13, 16, 2023, 27 to 30th, 26. Teacher prep, June 23rd or 24th, 2026.
Yeah, so, some students, who have an IEP, might need to have extra time to learn. And so that's just proving that we would be able to, meet that student's need and have that.
So moved.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, I'm gonna link O and P together. Consideration to approve facility use agreement for the following as presented: Wildcat Softball Club, softball fields, spring, summer, fall, Sundays, 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. Consideration to approve the second and final reading of the following policies as presented. And you're all there.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
So they will not be on the field until 1 o'clock.
Right, they don't practice till afternoon, and it won't be from 1 to 8, it's just depending, like weather, they'll move it up, back.
But it won't be before 1.
Correct.
Because I don't like this Sunday morning, them interrupting church time from sports anymore, so, okay, good.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, Q. Consideration to accept the resignation of School Board Director Dave Lauer effective March 4th, 2026.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I do want to thank Mr. Louder for his expertise with curriculum. And it's important that we have board members that do know about curriculum, and he did know that, and I appreciate his services.
Okay, thanks, Gary. Okay, we're gonna interview for the Region 2 Limestone Township Strattonville Borough School Board Director candidates. And, we have, Mr. Jeff Myers and Mr.
Stratton.
Yeah, Mr. Stratton, Mr. Michael Stratton. So, and we're gonna have Mr. Jeff Myers, you'll be going first, so they'll have questions. Chris is gonna ask a question.
You wanna come up?
Yeah.
Want me to go first? Want me to go first? All right, what interested you in serving on the school board at this time?
The future of my children and their ability to thrive if situations are given.
And what background or experiences would you bring that could be helpful in serving on the board?
I've always been more of a technical side, hands-on, but I'm also a shop steward and an officer in the Steelworkers Local 28M.
Okay. Julie?
How would you approach a situation where board members strongly disagree on an issue?
I would be willing to listen to anybody else's opinions, be considerate to that, and ultimately I would make my decision based off of the principles that I was raised with.
And before we finish up, is there anything else you'd like to share or any questions you'd like to ask?
No, not at this time.
Any other board member have anything to ask?
Jeff, you did run for the school board.
Yes, I did. I ran in the primaries, yes.
Okay, thank you.
If you had an opportunity to serve on any committee, what would be one that your expertise would you see participating in?
Offhand, I don't know. We have to look at what all committees you guys have and go from there.
Okay. All right, thank you, Jeff. Want to do the same?
What interested you in serving on the school board at this time?
Well, kind of like Jeff, interest in my kids, you know, their future here, and they're actually the fourth generation of our family being here, so just trying to see if maybe there's a fifth in the future there, so.
What background or experiences would you bring that could be helpful in serving on the board?
Well, in my letter of intent, I put in that I served on the board at the local Moose Club in Clarion. I was a trustee there for well over 3 years, and more I stepped down simply because of time constraints, but so I have been on the board before, and which, you know, listen to people out and know a lot of people, and just.
How would you approach a situation where board members strongly disagree on an issue?
You know, much like Jeff said, you have to listen to what they're saying and hear them out and base on your own opinion and try to come up with a better solution or a resolution to the issue.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to add or questions you'd like to ask?
Did you run for the board when there was a
I did not know.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to thank both of you for your commitment and everything to serve here. And, fortunately, we just have one spot. I wish we had 2 spots. But I thank you both. So, I guess I'm open for consideration.
The discussion, I think they're both good candidates because they care about kids, and that's what you're supposed to do. I would lean more towards Jeff because he took the time to run and everything, and that's nothing against you, so I encourage you to run. So I personally would like to make a motion that you bring on Mr. Meyer.
I'll second.
Roll call vote.
I'm with anybody else want to bring it.
Okay.
Yeah, does anybody have anything to yeah, roll call vote.
All right. Tom Walter? Yes. Nathaniel Parker?
Yes.
Dave Eggleton?
Yes.
Marty Selker?
Yes.
Chris Mogus?
Yes.
Gary Sproul?
Yes.
Julia Pando?
Yes.
And Bob Smith?
Yes. So, congratulations, Jeff. And like Jabe said, consider running in the next election. Thank you. Okay, Jeff, come on up, we've got. Okay, raise your right hand.
Can you come up closer? Maybe a photo of you.
Yeah.
You look so nice. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support and obey
that I will support and obey
and defend the Constitution of the United States
and defend the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and that I will discharge
and that I will discharge
the duties of my office with fidelity.
the duties of my office with fidelity.
You can have a seat.
Okay, any old business?
Yeah, I'd like to say, since my wife couldn't be here, but she would like, and I know the staff from Child Evangelism that works with our students, she would like to thank this administration, she would like to thank the teachers for the cooperation, a great year they had, They had averaged in the high 60s of students coming, and I know CL there again is in the forefront that with other districts in the area in the Tri-County that they're using CL as the prime example of a great program. And so on behalf of my wife, thank the administration and the teaching staff, and the kids loved it, and hope she'll be back next year, hopefully.
Okay, executive session now.
Yeah, so I'd like the board members to stay for a quick executive session where it's going to be informational purposes only. There'll be no deliberation, but it's for me to bring everybody up to speed on transportation. So,
One more thing. You have this in your folders, the Knox Law Institute. Used to be an all-day thing. I've been to it twice. Drove up to Erie. It was an all-day event. They do have a section just for school board members about school law, negotiating, things like that. It is a good program. And afterwards, there's a nice dinner, which is wonderful.
I knew there was a reason.
But no, it's really good. Yeah, I've been to it twice, each of my terms.
Food.
No, I paid for my own trip, so. But I really would, it's worth going to. You learn some things, you meet other school board members from other districts in northwestern PA, and you get some good insights, so I do recommend it.
Okay, all right. Have a motion to adjourn?
we'll go straight upstairs to the room at the top of the steps.
Can you make it?
Is that all right, Marty?
Okay.
We have an elevator here.
I told them.
Oh, I got it.